Yeah, so thank you so much for doing this. And the first question is, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and just what life stage you're roughly in, if you don't mind.
So I'm a part owner in mechanical electrical engineering firm, into design. This year will be my 25th year with the company. So I started here in 1996. Prior to that, I was an employee of a company called Cadbury. I'm sure you know that name, the confectionery industry. And so, yeah, pretty much after my schooling, I went to Cadbury and I studied electrical engineering. And I was there for 17 years. So I pretty much had two employees, call it that. So my current position, I'm a director in the company and I look after engineering and operations. We are a project-driven company, so we do projects mostly in the motor industry and motor related. Yeah, a bit about what I like to do. I'm outdoor person, do a bit of mountain biking. I'm by no means an athlete, but I've got my wife and I also involved in the mountain biking. It's quite good because it's the first time that I'm doing an activity or a sport that she gets involved in. So, she's an indoor runner. So now to get her to do an outdoor activity is great. We've also got a place in St. Francis, and yeah, we do a lot of boating and kayaking.
So it sounds like you've got quite a full lifestyle. So I guess for you, it was really important to find a lifestyle financial planner who understood that those things are really important to you.
Yes, and so my lifestyle prior to what it is now is not the same. Very business orientated lifestyle. I didn't actually give a lot of time to the social aspect or the what we call the rest activity time of your life. It's just business trip. I've taken a little bit of not a back seat in the business, but not the micro management approach. So I've also let the people that I've employed to actually do what they should be doing, and not to have such a hands-on approach in everything that happens. And that has also given me time to actually concentrate sometimes more on strategic things in the business and not just the micro managing the business every day. Taking the time out, and also Dirk has been instrumental in guiding me in that way by putting together this lifestyle and making me think about not just the business and other things in life.
Yeah, he does that quite well. So how long have you been with Client Care, and what brought you to them in the first place?
So yes, it's been 4 years this year. So I'm still new with Client Care as a client. They did approach me probably 7, maybe 6 years ago. But at the time, I didn't see the need for a financial plan. I thought, yeah, well, I can manage my own finances because I manage my own business. So why would I need somebody else to manage what I should be able to do?
That's wonderful. So your perception of financial planning, has that changed since you've worked with Client Care? Because as you know, they take a slightly different approach to what is traditionally considered to be financial planning with this focus on lifestyle. So would you say that through dealing with Dirk, that your kind of how you think about financial planning has changed?
Yeah, because when you hear the word financial planning, you think about somebody that's taking the finances, putting them into a plan or an investment. Dirk, he presents it in a different way because he looks at you as an individual and what your lifestyle is and what needs to be made provisionally wise for that lifestyle in your financial plan. That's where the difference to me is. Not that I'm an expert on financial planners and how other financial planners do it, but the way Dirk does it with the lifestyle approach to me makes a lot of sense. And it gives me an insight into what the plan is for me. well, not an insight, but a view of what that plan is going to be for the day that I eventually stop with.
Super.
Yeah, and like we were talking about lifestyle now, Dirk he's as I say, he gets involved or he gets to understand your personal situation. Because obviously everybody's situation is not the same. I think he looks at you personally and then he structures your plan accordingly.
Yeah, definitely, because your situation would be very different from mine, of course. And I think even in my dealings with the team, it's been really great that they're very understanding of individuals' needs. So in light of the recent pandemic, how have things changed in your kind of day-to-day or monthly dealings with client care?
First of all, the investment was panic. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to do because I just saw this thing plummeting, and Dirk calmed me down and said to me, Reg, you need to understand this is happening to everybody and the market will turn. You just need to stay invested. So with regards to that, there was a bit of panic, but now the panic is subsided. And the contact with client care based on the pandemic hasn't really changed for me in that I still have a lot of, not social media, but a lot of like this Zoom platform, contact with Dirk. So during the time when it was not, that people would see each other in office environments, we would do Zoom meetings and also via email correspondence, a lot of contact with clients. I have visited their offices recently. Also, I've taken my wife to the offices because it was also the inclusion of Cindy into this lifestyle plan. So yeah, I can say that it hasn't affected my dealings at all.
And how often do you normally touch base with client care? And do you feel like you're really well looked after with client care?
The financial year end for me is a lot of contact. I need a lot of information from them, for the auditors, for my trust. So, but generally, I probably correspond with client care once, twice a month. The response, I mean, they've got a fantastic team. Catherine, Zoe, Alex. So it's not just Dirk. There is another support service other than Dirk. Although Dirk is Guy, but Catherine and Zoe and Alex respond like literally minutes after I send an email. So yes, I believe I'm very well responsible.
Awesome. So in terms of life goals or lifestyle goals, I should say, can you think of any of those that client care have helped you achieve or are maybe busy helping you work towards?
Yeah, it's mainly getting my finances into one central place. I never really had a full understanding of where everything was. And they've really like neatly packaged it all together. So when you go to see them or they do a review with you, you can actually see holistically everything where all your investments are, where your policies are sitting, what the values are, and so for me, it's created a central, let's call it the database of information for me. Where before I was with Dirk, everything was all over the place. And nothing was really up to date. So now he's also got me to get everything up to date all the time.
So you actually have an idea of what's going on financially in your life since Dirk has kind of taken it on.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And what do you think makes client care different from other financial planners?
Yeah, I don't have any experience with other financial planners. So it would be difficult to say our Dirk is different. The fact that I see him as not, or the business is not as transactional driven. For me, it's that they actually look at you on the personal level and not just the transactional.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes 100% sense to me. I actually hear that quite often when I do these interviews with people. This is probably my third round that I'm having these chats with clients, and that's actually a theme that comes up quite often, is how personable Dirk and the team are, and that they really do care. And I know it's in the name. but that they really take the time to get to know their clients, and it's great as someone who is external to the team but still part of the team as a marketer, and I've been working with them since 2017. So yeah, it's really great as someone who's part of the family to hear that everyone's being treated like this. It's really quite special, actually, from a small business, I think.
You know, somebody takes the time to understand you and know you, and maybe even 6 months or 3 months go by, and then you talk again. There's the remembrance of what was said and what happened in your life. So there is, to me, that personal touch, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So can you tell me if there are any exciting plans in the works for you in the next year or two, maybe 5?
I bought a house in St. Francis. I don't know if you know St. Francis. Dirk is actually also bought a home in St. Francis. I gave myself a year before I made the decision now to whether to move from Port Elizabeth. Actually, Port Elizabeth has a new name, I don't know if you know. Cabera, probably even haven't pronounced it correctly, but yes. We're really excited about the prospect of moving to St. Francis and then, working remotely from France. I've been doing it now for a couple of months. Currently, the business is not that busy because everybody is in the beginning of or the end of the financial year. So for us, it's a lot of quoting and not a lot of actual operations work. So one's going to have to see how everything pans out. But the exciting thing is we have a home in St. Francis and we want to go live there. Yeah, and to be able to work remotely and not be in the office every day. To me, that's something exciting. Yes, we want to travel. We haven't traveled now for a year and a half. So, and my wife is looking forward to going to the Kruger National Park. Like Dirk, she loves the animal wildlife. I like the ocean and the beach. And I also love the wildlife, but not as much as she loves it. But so we have a little compromise.
So you've compromised. So you give her the holiday, but you buy the dream home on the beach. Got it.
There you go.
Good compromise.
Yeah. So yeah, I think traveling and living in St. Francis and not being at the office every day.
Yeah,
and that also gives me a little bit of longer time in the business, because I think if I don't have such a full active time in the business, I'll be more keen to stay longer in the business.
That sounds that makes sense. I don't want
to retire tomorrow, but sometimes you feel like time.
Sounds like it's going to be an exciting time. Would you recommend Client Care to friends and family, and have you previously?
I would definitely recommend them to anybody that wanted somebody that could take care of their personal needs and put their finances into one place, and give an engineer or the average man in the street a proper financial idea of what is happening with their money. Because you can go to an accountant and he'll sit you down and explain your financials for the year, and you can be pretty sharp to understand what he's saying.
Yeah, that's probably true. So you'd say Dirk's actually made it understandable. So in your dealings with him, it's not only become more clear what you have, but you can actually understand it in a simple way.
Yes, and you also can see the projection that he shows you. So he gives you a projection. I can't remember the age now, but it's the old age, and but you can clearly see what is happening and what will happen with your finances.
Amazing.
But yes, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend to anybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reg, for taking the time to chat with me and for sharing your experience with Client Care. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure the team does as well.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Mario.
Anytime. Okay. Super.